Good morning. Abstinence. Experience strength and hope from members of Overeaters Anonymous. We're moving into chapter 4, Abstinence, a priority. The first story is Taking Action. How elusive is abstinence? It darts in and out, scaring the socks off of us. Some people can live with it, but I couldn't until I got a food plan, my very own, designed specifically for my needs, and until working the steps taught me how to live with abstinence. Other changes in my life have come from working the steps, and I have a sponsor to thank for that. Nancy didn't start out as my sponsor. I never called her or asked her for help. I had telephone phobia, you understand. I knew how to isolate myself. She was just a friend in the program working her 12 step who called me one day and said, "How have you been?" And then she meddled, telling me, you're never going to get anywhere until you do your fourth step. Oh, the fourth step. I had abstained from that as well as the food. I realized I had to do it. So I asked Nancy if I could read it to her. In my fifth step, she lived through my long, woeful accounts of who'd done me wrong and where I was to blame. And all the ugliness in my life reared its head. Character defects, I believe they're called. I had yet to learn about them. Nancy was so gracious. Her eyes only glazed once while I read. When I finished, she hugged me and told me I was okay. She understood. She knew what I was talking about. I practice other abstinences as well. I now abstain from jealousy, which used to be my big thing. I'm learning to walk away from pride and let it shrivel up and die. I abstain from worrying, and I'm learning to trust that others can take care of themselves. I refrain from nagging and trying to control other people. I used to major in those. Now I just take one day at a time and live and let live. I wonder where I got that. Program, perhaps. I also stay away from slippery people, places, and things, which for me are drive-throughs, church dinners, and certain family celebrations. Yet I've realized abstinence goes deeper than our behavior in a kitchen or at a restaurant. It touches every area of our lives. Abstinence requires a life plan, not simply a food plan. That's why we have the 12 steps. That's why we have a program. We will never be abstinent from compulsive overeating as long as we talk about it. We will forever sit on the sidelines and long for what others have, feeling flawed and inadequate ourselves. Abstinence is an action. To have what they have, we have to be willing. We have to reach out. We have to accept. We have to find out and do what they did. And if we see someone drowning in our midst, too overwhelmed by life to utter the word help, we can throw out the lifeline. Does abstinence come overnight? For some, yes, but for many of us, gaining it is a process. Within the past 2 years, my mother has died. My father-in-law has had cancer. My brother-in-law has become terminally ill. And we've moved twice. I would have kicked against all this at one time. Now I accept it. I'm taking it one day at a time, one step at a time. I'm finding serenity and, amazingly enough, the ability to refrain from compulsive overeating. Nothing has happened overnight, but it has happened. The key is to keep coming back. It works if you work it. Some of us have to work it for a long time. Then, one day, as if by magic, something clicks and we've made it. We may find we don't have perfect abstinence, but we learn from our humanness and we go on. We learn to think, to act on life rather than to react to it, to accept what we can't do anything about, and to change what we can. We can only change our actions, our thought processes, and our patterns of interacting. Abstinence is my hiding place. Where I once turned to food, I now turn to this safe haven where I take care of myself and entrust my family to the God of my understanding. That's not a bad place to be. Begin this process by loving yourself. Work the steps with the help of God and a sponsor. You can find abstinence, joy, and peace. That is OA's gift. Receive it. You deserve to be abstinent. And this message comes from a member in Ocean City, Maryland. We do deserve it. We deserve peace. We deserve joy. We deserve serenity. And all of those are results of simple, simple, simple actions. All the suggestions, just embrace them all for as long as it takes for you to realize that you are okay. Regular meeting attendance, service work, home group, sponsor, be a good sponsee, work the steps, both directions, work the traditions, be available, and explore your integrity and all your assets. You know, I think almost every time the word fourth step and fifth step gets uttered, we move through all the negativity around that step. But the gift in that step is really the final aspect of it is the assets. And all the assets we gain once we move away from and clear out all the wreckage of our past. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is such a gift. If you actually really truly work through that process, you clean up the past wreckage. You forgive, not in an idea, but in actuality. And over the last couple of weeks, I've come across some unresolved resentments, and I've just moved through this process to the best of my ability and really super detailed and thinking like, poof, I'm done. I got a clean slate. But, that clean slate revealed another slate underneath. And I've got some resentments to clear up. And so I just need to do a little writing. I need to work the step. I need to talk to my sponsor and say, hey, I've revealed these resentments and I need to write about it. I need to pray about it. I need to write it out. And I need to fifth step it. And then I need to turn it over. And I need to forgive these people. And I ultimately need to forgive myself for putting myself in a position where these people could do harm to me. So I got to take responsibility. That's what it seems like almost all of my issues come around that maturing process to realize that it is my responsibility to shape my character, to behave in manners in which I am responsible for my life and for the way that I interact with family, with friends, with lover, with employer, in business, socially, the whole gamut. Every area of my life, I am responsible for turning it over and getting guidance and trusting. and accepting my humanness and my worth. Yeah. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. So I say that in the hopes, like this member was reaching out ultimately and just saying, do the work, do the work, do the work. There are huge rewards on the other side. Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle. The miracle is alive and well if you show up for it. So just show up. Have a great day. Bye.